Pablo in Arizona has a question, and I'll direct it at Dr. Josh. So thanks for waiting, Pablo. Welcome to the show.
Hey, how's it going, Matt?
Good.
Great. I don't know if there's a delay. How do I sound on my end?
You're fine. Just talk.
Great. So I don't really have I definitely don't have a well-equipped philosophical argument for the existence of God, or I would say, you could even narrow it back down more so like an entity. What type of entity? I don't know. What are your thoughts? That was my reason for calling.
Oh, because it says here you were going to ask us, have we completely ruled out God?
Yeah, there you go.
So, Josh, have you completely ruled it? Josh, have you completely ruled out God or gods?
Yeah, I don't know how I would do that. And again, I mean, like, this isn't my field of expertise, but I guess this sort of ties back into what, the previous caller, whoever that was saying. Like, I feel like when you get back to the very beginning of, I don't know, this universe, or I feel like we're dealing with perhaps the same sort of thing that we've seen, throughout the past 5,000 years of recorded history. And that is that we have things that we can't explain. Therefore, we assign some supernatural value to it. And then as time goes by, we say, oh, wait, as we gain knowledge and understanding, we say, okay, well, this makes more sense. I'm not saying that that's what's going to happen, because it's not my field. But how I would come to a place where I could, have that type of epistemological absolute confidence, which is what it seems like that question is asking. Maybe I've misunderstood it, but where I can completely rule out any deity. I don't think that a deity is responsible for what I see. But I guess anything's possible, maybe.
And my take is,
okay.
And my take is that I haven't completely ruled out a God because I'm not absolutely certain about anything. I don't see any path where anybody could be absolutely certain about anything at all. But not only do I not believe in a God, I actively believe that there are not gods. I'm not absolutely certain about it, but it makes more sense to me that given the number of God concepts that are out there that people have presented that cannot be true, that they cannot all be true. As a matter of fact, most of them could not be true if any other is true. These are primarily mutually exclusive. And given that the ones that people tend to believe in, the world we live in does not appear as it would appear or should appear were any of those gods real. Like, we wouldn't have to be having these debates about a God. If there were a God, God could clear this up really quickly, and hasn't. So what kind of loving God lets its followers continually look like doofuses when asked to present argument and evidence for their belief? I mean, it's like God is punking everybody.
That's funny. Yeah, that's true. That's very true. And I think that I don't know if you would consider it like a demographic or a certain category. Theists, for example, their category. A lot of them don't have a lot of philosophical logic and tools, and I would hope to acquire that more, because I'm still kind of in this in between of choosing where I stand on that. Because I feel like.
Are you really, Pablo? Are you really? Yeah. And do you think it's a choice? Because I don't see how we choose anything that we believe. I've never chosen a belief in my life. I'm either convinced by the weight of the evidence, or I'm not convinced. And I can be convinced for really bad reasons and then find out I was wrong. So I don't think we choose beliefs at all.
I think that it depends on what scope you're looking at it, right? I think you're looking at it at a scope of this generalization of beliefs. And I think some beliefs come to a person in an acquired way from an external force, influenced from the outside, I would say. And then some beliefs kind of are chosen, and those beliefs are connected within reality, still kind of influenced, but they're chosen.
So give me an example. Give me an example of a belief that is chosen.
A belief that would be chosen would be a certain type of music that a genre of music or timeline of music that I would like to analyze, or I would say a certain type of painting I would want to draw, something within art.
No. Now you're talking about what aesthetic things you are drawn to, which you also have no control over. Did you choose what kind of music you liked?
I would say that's a good question. That's a great question. Did I choose the type of music that I liked? How was it formed? Is that the question? How was my
yeah, because first of all, the thing you're describing is not so much a belief as it is an aesthetic preference. I like this kind of music. I like this kind of art. Those aren't beliefs. And even if you believed, like, let's say you really love country music and you believe that country music is the best music ever. Well, you're wrong. But I love country music. I still wouldn't say it's the best music ever. But the fact that you like something and view it as preferential when it's a matter of opinion, like chocolate ice cream is best. No, it's not. There is no best ice cream. There's just what you prefer. And similarly, there's no best music. There's what you prefer. And there's no best art. Now, there are non-subjective artistic criteria by which we try to judge art and music and comedy, but it's not like there's a fact out there that you can just choose. You still had to become convinced of it. So like, what's your favorite music, Pablo?
I like, right now I'm interested in this, it's like psychedelic rock.
Okay. So if you just chose to like psychedelic rock, let's say that you just decided one day, I'm going to like psychedelic rock. Is that what happened? Or did you hear some psychedelic rock and go, hey, I like that. Let's hear more.
It was based upon experience. I'm wondering where you're going to take it.
I'm done. I reached the end. I asked you, when you decided to like psychedelic rock, was it because you heard psychedelic rock and said, hey, I like that, let me hear more? Or did you hear that and say, I'm going to choose to like that?
I think it was kind of, honestly, it was kind of, it's going to sound kind of silly, but it was a combination of both.
I don't believe you. You're right. It does sound silly. I think you are so enamored with the notion that you get to choose your beliefs that you're just making shit up now. But I appreciate that, because so does everybody else. This is the reason why people are convinced that they have free will, or that they are in charge of their destiny, is because it feels like you decided to like this. And that's not really what we see happening.
Then what is the, I don't know if it's a good question for me to ask for you to explain your belief, but being like determinism perhaps, or?
Well, what do you want to know? Because soft determinism at least is true. I mean, but whether or not hard determinism is true, we don't necessarily know.
Soft determinism. Okay. And within soft determinism, you have established some, would you consider them like ground, like some ground, I guess, some understanding, some agreements.
Agreements about what? I mean, we've moved on in a weird direction. All I mean by soft determinism is that the universe appears orderly and follows instructions. Like if I pick up this pen and let go, I can predict what this pen's going to do. Now I can do things that, that serve to like fool you, so that it may, maybe the pen floats in midair. I'm not doing a magic trick or anything now, but you could do that sort of thing. And so what is it you're wanting to know about determinism? Because we haven't even solved the problem, but with soft determinism or hard determinism, there's no room for like rewinding the clock and having things differently.
No, I'm just curious. I kind of just like, I'm still, that was a good question. And whether you have completely ruled out the idea of an external entity, that was a good question. And I guess it's traveled on kind of like determining whether anything is be determinable, I guess, or like whether anything is I don't know how you worded it, but it was along the lines of you were taking the stance of skepticism, being
Okay.
or a skeptic, or I'm not sure. But I know that you can establish certain things within reality that are, I would say, empirical, or primary qualities of something, or you can establish the primary qualities of anything that is, I guess, presented, like that pen, the primary qualities of that pen. You know, you can establish that.
I don't know what primary,
and that is.
Yeah, I genuinely don't know what you mean by primary qualities, but I think you're exploring something. It would probably be in your best interest to go out to one of the university sites, or even start at Wikipedia and do a search for epistemology, and then follow all the links and go to everywhere where everybody's talking about epistemology, about how you know what you know, because it's a big field. And, you know, while you clearly find it interesting, maybe you'll enjoy learning more about it. But right now, I don't see how we choose beliefs. And the answer to your question is that neither Josh and I have completely ruled out a God. However, if you were to say, what's the likelihood that I think I'm going to be shown to be wrong about a God? I'd say 0.00000000000, maybe 1%.
Yeah, I mean, that's a really good statement. I would say, even to kind of like to think about the fact that it's very hard to acquire knowledge within itself. It's very hard because it's very hard to develop good premises that acquire a good conclusion. Talking about the cosmos, but like I get it. I think that going back to being able to, like, I would say establish, and what I meant by primary qualities would be the primary qualities of the object being the pen.
Yeah, that still doesn't clear it up. Because you could be talking about.
I'm not trying to clear up anything. I'm just trying to say you can determine, I guess, like you can make descriptions of things that are true.
Yeah. The fact that I can hold this up and everybody who looks at it knows that this is a pen, even though they haven't seen this specific pen before. That's how good we are at labeling and identifying things in our world. Almost every human being is going to have some experience with something that is sufficiently pen-like that when I hold this up, they're just going to be like, "Oh, Matt's holding a pen." They may do it in a different language, la plume, but
yeah. I guess. Could I ask? I'm not sure if I could. Sorry to hold you up. I'm trying to learn and also lead this in a good direct conversation.
It's fine, but after this one, we got to go because I've got callers with questions for Josh. So yeah, go ahead.
Oh, okay. Sounds good. I guess not sure if I have to do more research on the relationship between determining what is real and how to describe it properly, because it kind of travels within different scopes and perspectives when you talk about the cosmos, or when you talk about feelings, emotions, or when you talk about whatever, I suppose, area of reality that you speak of. You kind of have to have a certain language to it, and I guess I would have to acquire that language, but I can definitely determine the things that are there are things to determine. So the argument of skepticism holds its own in an odd way.
Well, I don't know that it's an odd way, but I would say that skepticism does hold its own, which is why so many of us are advocates. But on that note, Pablo, I'm going to let you go, and we're going to go on to some more calls. But yeah, keep searching and give us a call when you have more questions.
Yeah, I definitely.
Oh, well. The timing on hanging up is always a problem, which is one of the reasons. So on Wednesday nights, I do another show on a different network called The Hang Up. And the standard thing is that when somebody's on there, I ask them at the end of the call, normally, would they like to hang up on me or would they like me to hang up on them? and we have a bit of fun with that. It popped into my head literally on the first call for that show after the title. But now one of my atheist experience, and it's like, I think I've sorted out the delay and I think I know when to hang up, and I keep getting it wrong. So apologies, Pablo, that I cut you off.